What's up, Sons of Montezuma? Make sure you are downloading all of our episodes on Spotify, subscribing and liking on YouTube, and of course, checking out sonsofmontezuma.com. With the returning core of Darrion Trammell, Lamont Butler, Micah Parrish, and now Jaedon LeDee, the SDSU Aztec men's basketball team seeks to make another deep tournament run in 2024.
Let's run it back.
We game time. Come on, right leg. The crowd stays heavy. Keep the bus running cause this won't take long. 4 minutes left, hear the show still going strong. We game time ready. Opponents can't sleep when they leave.
DJ again! It's Butler with 2 seconds. He's got to put it up. And he wins it with the jumper. A San Diego State miracle.
Fans around it, ready and shouting. They want to see us win, and there's no doubt about it.
What was the graphic from? Was that like an NWA album cover?
If you ever seen the Vibe magazine from back in the 90s, it was Death Row. Once Suge Knight brought Tupac out of prison, he signed him to Death Row. Okay. So you had like Suge Knight, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and then you added in Tupac. It was like this super team of West Coast rappers, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's what that, it's like an iconic graphic, iconic image from that Vibe magazine. So I don't know, it just felt right, you know what I mean? Like we were all expecting Jaedon, we were all expecting Lamont, well, kind of expecting Lamont, right, to come back to the Mesa, but then once it was complete, it just felt like, oh man, okay, all right, now we can start thinking forward, like this team, the core is here, you know?
Oh my.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Sons of Montezuma podcast. Episode number, what are we at? 121. And man, we are coming back from an excellent holiday weekend. It's your host, Mateo San Diego. I am joined with the sandwich aficionado. He's a Lego champion, a supporter of all things awesome. And he is also known as the white Stephen A. Smith, the Caucasian Stephen A. Smith. I haven't forgot about that. What's going on, Mike? How you doing?
What's up, man? Hope you had a good holiday weekend. Hope everybody had a good holiday weekend, and some good news today and yesterday. So it's fitting to jump back on here and rap a little bit.
Dude, the day after a 3-day weekend always sucks. Like work, you try to get back to work, you're just feeling lethargic and just lazy. You don't want to get up in the morning. I was that ways, not because I was hurting or anything like that, but it's just, you know, you get that extra day off. And, you know, we're recording on a Tuesday night. And, you know, when I thought the day was going to stink, it got really good because we got really great news in Aztec Nation that you kind of mentioned about. But, you know, I got my shades on. Fiend is not joining us. So I figured I put on my Fiend shades and try to see the world from his point of view. And I'll just like, I'll take these suckers off. Only Fiend could pull that off, man. I can't pull it off. But
yeah,
this Monday was Memorial Day. And, you know, we got some great news on Memorial Day. And that was that Lamont Butler was coming back. He was going to, what did he say? He was going to, they're going to run it back. Let's run it back, San Diego State. Let's do this, San Diego. So we got that awesome news. And then today on Tuesday, we got the news that Jaedon LeDee is coming back. Now, both moves were kind of expected, I would say.
It was a great weekend. A lot of barbecuing, a lot of grilling, a lot of hanging out with family and friends. And you get that news from, Monday from Lamont, which I'm pretty ecstatic about. I didn't know, man. I wasn't sure. I was texting a couple guys I know, and you know what I mean? It depends on what he does the workouts, and we all know how he's going to work out. You know, he looks like he got big too. He looks like
you think so?
Yeah, he looks like he put a little weight on, man. But you know, we all know what he can do. I'm very happy he's coming back.
But either way, it's great to have both of the guys back. Like we said, they kind of round out that core on the Aztecs. If you add in Darrion Trammell, you add in Micah Parrish. And of course, we've already, you know, kind of publicized the Reese Dixon Waters coming in on the transfer, Jay Powell coming in on the transfer. And then we got all the young guns coming up. They're going to get their shine, their time to shine. But we'll get into that right now. I mean, let's talk about these two guys coming back, these two core members of last year's Final Four team. I mean, Lamont Butler, we talked about him at length, you know, his ascension and really taking his game up to the next level. I mean, you talk about somebody we've seen as a freshman playing during the pandemic and then coming in as a sophomore. You're just really showing glimpses of really greatness. You know, his first step is just it's remarkable. His first step is just so quick. It stands out. It jumps out off the screen. And then this past year, his junior year, everything we saw on social media and just getting the reports and you know, really catching his name in a lot of headlines, and of course coming off that Final Four, greatest shot in Aztec history. I don't know how anybody could dispute that, but yeah, he's coming back. He's running it back.
I mean, I think I think in the long run it's gonna be great for him, because you know it was a tough class this year with the thing, and I don't think he, you know, being from San Diego State, you don't get as much run, even though we were in the Final Four on the national championship game. Still San Diego State, you know what I mean? So we're still working on getting that all up, besides Kawhi and all that stuff. But you know, he's just a player, man. Like, and he is his jump from, you know, he had some hurdles that he had to go through, you know, physically, emotionally, and that's just growing up. And he just, as athletes, the spotlight is more on them, that they go through the stuff that probably a lot of us go through behind the scenes, but they do it more publicly. And that's interesting. Always been interesting to me to see that, because it sees how you get to see how people react. It's not, you know, when going's good, the going's good, but you get to see how people react in the bad situations. You get to see the mentality and the character of that human being, you know. And I'm not saying he was in a bad situation, but he was in you know, it was tough with his arm, you know, and the family situation and stuff that people have talked about at 19 or 20 years old. You know, that's tough for anybody to go through, you know. So we all see the athleticism, and you know, like we said, he plays fast. He plays so much quicker, and he's so much quicker than everybody else. It's unbelievable to me, you know, the quickness of him getting to the rim and going around and stuff like that. And so I'm just pumped. I'm pumped to have an opportunity to see him in an Aztec uniform for at least one more year.
You know, like you said, Mike, through the ups and downs, he was able to hit the clutch shots. And I mean, man, that tells so much about a person's character, like what you were saying, you know, just being able to have that mental toughness in those crucial moments to take the ball and say, I could hit this. I could put the team on my back, so to say, in that particular moment. But, you know, let's talk about Jaedon LeDee. You know, it kind of went up to the very end. There wasn't a lot publicized about, you know, his workouts in the off season or what he was doing with, you know, scouts and different things like that. Did you hear much of anything? I didn't
really hear anything, to be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, he keeps it private though, which is fine. I mean, you know, you know, your thing, man, you got to look out for what's best for you and get the feedback, and you make the best decision based on the information you receive. And, you know, I think he's a good player. I think he had, you know, moments of brilliance and some moments of rust this year, to be frank. But that's expected, you know what I mean? After sitting out a year and then coming into a team that was pretty much loaded and trying to find your way. And, you know, I don't know, you know, that's a tough thing to do. But he, you know, he figured out at the end of the season. I'm always a big believer of just, you know, let's see where you're at the end of the season. You know, let's see how you start. It's not where you start, it's where you end. Same thing with Lamont, you know, with Maui to national championship game. And that by far is, I read something on Lamont about him, arguably the greatest shot in San Diego State history. Is like, get the fuck out of here, dude. That is the greatest shot in San Diego State history. And there's not even a close second. Like, literally, there's not even a close second. You know, it's to get these guys both back and playing together another year, and you know, in the off season together. Then you have another year in the off season with Trammell and Parrish in that situation. So, you know, those four are, you know, like that graphic you put out that was sweet today. It's going to be fun, man. And LeDee is, you know, he's a big piece to the puzzle that came through. And, you know, now it's going to be interesting to see what the coaches do, because they have 2 more scholarships, but they usually keep one on the back end to see if they get a big center, which would be, I think, better fitting for Jaedon for his game. But knowing Jaedon, what he said, I'm sure he'll play a 5 if they need him to.
Yeah, I know we talked about that last episode, you know, and Fiend was kind of a proponent of Jaedon being able to slide to that center spot and being able to move around and be involved in pick and roll and all that good stuff. Let's talk about what we actually know. At the guard spots, I mean, we're looking at Darrion Trammell, we're looking at Lamont Butler. I want to call them like the big guard spots, but they're kind of like that big guard, small forward type of spot where it's like you got Micah Parrish, you got Reese Dixon Waters, and then you got Miles Bird, right? He's coming up and he's got some excellent size, you know, as far as height and whatnot. And then you got big forwards because we don't really have a traditional center. You just got a bunch of big dudes, big forwards. You got Jaedon LeDee, you got Jay Powell, you got DeMarshe Johnson, and then you got Elijah Saunders. So I kind of lump them all in those categories, big forwards. When I look at Jaedon, though, it's kind of interesting because he only averaged 18 minutes a game last year, right? He was coming off the bench. And, you know, of course, the team was loaded. They were stacked last year. So, you know, it was interesting mix, right? And in the beginning of the year, he was putting up points. I mean, that BYU performance was pretty awesome. He had like over 25, 26 points in that game.
Right,
but he averaged just under 8 points a game.
7.9 points, 5.3 rebounds. And they were crucial rebounds. They were like big time rebounds. Do you know what I mean? Like whenever you would see stuff, it felt like it was when you needed a big rebound, he was there to get it. Now, obviously, that's fantastic goal because it was never every single time. But as you look back on a season, you kind of think about, oh man, there were some big plays that he made at big times. You know, his experience coming back after the year and another year in the system, so it'll be his third year, is going to be massive. I expect him to take another big leap this year.
Well, one of the things I noticed is he only shot the ball more than 10 times twice all season. And one was that BYU game because he put up a ton of points, right? And then the second one was against FIU. Like you're talking about like bookending, right? Like the second game of the year and then the next to last game of the year, pretty much. I think that's how it worked out. So it's just interesting that the whole year long, it was like just this journey of him, you know, kind of finding his place within the offense. And the same could be said, you know, for Darrion, the transfer coming in, you know, we're really trying to find your place within the offense, within the mix of the team. You said something because we were talking about now that Jaden's back in, now that Lamont's back in. And I told you, I was like, man, this season is going to be one of the most hyped seasons of all time. I mean, coming off of Final Four, everybody's expectations are through the roof. You got these core guys coming back, and it's like, okay, let's run it back. That's what everybody's saying. Run it back, run it back. Well, what does that mean, run it back? You want to run it back to the Final Four? You want to run it back to the national championship game? The hype on this team, rightfully so, is going to be crazy. I love the phrase that San Diego State used, right? They used it for Snapdragon. It was like, the hype is real. Okay, well, we know with this basketball team, the hype is really real. I mean, they proved it last year. But this is a whole new team, a whole new mix-up of characters. You're not necessarily, are you buying into the hype, or what are your thoughts on it? Because you were a little candid with me off camera on as far as, you know, playing into that hype.
Cautiously optimistic. I mean, we're not as deep as last year. We're not as veteran as last year. So do I expect us? Last year's team is better than this upcoming team. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Because we have stats and you know, everything that's happened. We've seen what happened with that team. Next year's potential, right? The potential of it, but we don't have the depth. We don't have 9-10 guys. You know, we have Miles Bird, which, you know, everybody's got their own journey. I was curious why he didn't redshirt. Not saying that he should have or he needed to, but he didn't really play. He played one or two, you know, not many games to be. It's like, hey man, would it have been better to sit, or maybe he just didn't want to, you know what I mean? So like I said, everyone's got their own journey. So I you know, you do what you
interested to know. I'd be interested to know, you know, I'd love to ask that question.
Yeah. And so, you know, and then you have these other guys, you know, coming in that are, you know, they're going to have to take a big jump, you know, because you have, you know, you got the starters, you got the 4 guys, and then you got Dixon Waters and PayPal, right? Is that what we're calling him? PayPal?
Yeah.
So there's 6, right? And then after that, it's the unknown. That's the unknown.
Hey, Aztec Nation, stop on over to sonsofmontezuma.com, where you can find more SDSU sports, news, articles, podcasts, and the freshest and most unique Aztec-inspired merchandise, including our original NIL shop. Lots of new styles there for both men and women, and even kids. Your support to this channel helps fund a lot more creative ideas. So make sure to stop over to sonsofmontezuma.com. Go Aztecs.
So I'm always excited about this team every single year. Last year was a different stratosphere, and it proved itself to be. This year, I need to see some jumps from some guys for them to have the same thing, because you start looking at other teams in our conference with the NAL money and stuff like that. They're built to beat us. We have some question marks. Let's just be honest. And it's not a bad thing. It's just something we don't know yet.
It's just something different.
Yeah, it's something different. We don't know. We don't know what a Miles Bird can do in a game, or, Elijah Sanders can do the last 5 minutes of a game after he's been out there for 35 minutes or 30 minutes. We haven't seen that statistical data yet. So the coaches have seen it in games, practices and stuff like that. But as fans, we don't know yet. So it'll be interesting to see how this team comes together and goes forward.
When you have so much veteran leadership, like you said, out the door now. But I think it's interesting because last year's team, we talk about Nathan Mensah, right? And at the end of the year, we talked about it a couple episodes back, where now he's showing off some offensive skill that a lot of people didn't really think he was capable of, but it's just because he wasn't asked to do that in season. That wasn't what his role was. It wasn't required of him to do that. You had players like Seiko that would come in and just shoot lights out for a couple minutes, and then it was part of the rotation. Got guys like Matt Bradley who had to really change his game around to kind of accommodate everybody else. So it's like, I'm really excited about this team moving forward because, yeah, you may have less pieces as far as veteran leadership guys that what they can do, but I feel like the guys that we have coming back have such offensive potential, that firepower, that potential that each guy possesses, whether it's Micah, whether it's Darrion or Lamont, all these guys. Of course, we saw it with Jaedon. We saw it in the tournament. I mean, the dude he was unstoppable at times. So I'm really interested to see when their roles get expanded and we kind of stop playing so many guys in that style of play. Maybe these guys, their role just expands and you expect more of them. And, whether they're willing or capable to take on a bigger load and a bigger presence in an expanded role, I think that can make up for a lot of what we saw last year, because it's just going to be a completely different team, I would assume. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd love to see, the younger guys step up and contribute. And hey, I mean, Jamal Franklin did it as a sophomore. He took over and just, he put the team on his back in a lot of respects. If that happens with some of these younger guys coming up, awesome. I'm not expecting that. But I think with these 4 core guys, and then you add in a Dixon Waters who's fully capable of scoring, man, this offensive firepower may be something that we're not really given the credit for. But of course, it's all yet to be seen. It's all yet to be seen.
And you got the 2 freshmen coming in, right?
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's going to be tough to crack, though. I mean, this is a program like you come in as a freshman. Woo, you better. You got to be real good to crack the lineup.
I like that. You have to. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm not getting minutes. Well, you better play better then. You play better, you're going to get some more minutes. Not saying that people are playing bad, but these guys are all fighting for spots. We'll see how it coalesces, because the coaches always, I have utter confidence in all those coaches. They know what they're doing. They got their guys and they pick their guys based on what they need for the system and their personality and things like that. And, you got a pretty good top there with, Butler, Trammell, Parrish, LeDee, and then, you got the other guys coming in. So, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. I can't sit here and tell you that, I expect them to, like I said, I don't expect anything every year. I don't expect nothing. It's, hey, let's get the first game. Let's see how we play. Let's get the second game and see how they play. And then, they start hitting their stride February, March. I mean, Dutch doesn't really technically ever lose in February, March, really.
But tell me though, I mean, after a Final Four run, Mike, their confidence has to be sky high just as much as the hype is sky high, right? I mean, you don't go through all that experience and then come back to a Mountain West schedule and think, oh, well, we got to hit our stride midseason. Like, you just showed the world what you're capable of. And now you got expanded roles for Darrion. Now you got expanded roles for Lamont. I mean, you got to think the freedom for them to operate, especially at this point now, their confidence has got to be just through the roof. Like, okay, we're going to dominate from day one.
Exactly, as it should be. But you have teams who want to play the guys from the Mountain West who went to the national championship game saying, hey, we're better than them. We're like, we always get everybody's their best shot. Now we're going to get like, we could lose 10, 11 games and still get to the, in the NCAA tournament and stuff like that, because everybody's going to just fire at us because, hey, these are the guys that went to the national championship game. We want to beat them. And then there's always some weird stuff that goes on during the season. You don't know what happens. Knock on wood, there's no injuries and things like that. Yeah.
That yearly trip to Logan, always something weird.
Yeah. There's always some, but yeah, their confidence should be up. I mean, they got the national championship game and they played some really good teams and some really good and close games. So that experience and that is going to really help them down the road. I mean, look what it from, last year with Creighton to this year was, losing the first round to Creighton and then getting as far as they did this year. So like, that was just magic last year. I mean, that was ridiculous. And that's, what I mean? Like that, but look what happened to the Padres this year. I mean, they went to the NLCS and they're just floundering right now. And obviously they have time to get back together, but each year is its own story. You don't know what happened in that, in that book until it happens.
Oh man,
I sound really negative. Shit, man, I sound really negative about this team, dude. But
we can't bring the Padres into this equation, man. Yeah, they're still miserable.
But it's just, I mean, I'm always excited about this team. I always have confidence in the players and Dutch and Velasquez and Acker and all these guys. They haven't given me a reason not to be excited and trust them.
What are you looking for, Mike? What are you looking for out of Lamont Butler this year in his role and his capabilities? What are you looking for?
I mean, he's definitely the general. I mean, he's the floor leader. I mean, he's the unquestioned leader of this team. I think he's gonna have another great year. He's gonna get everybody's best shot too. But I wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility if everything goes well and his confidence in playing that he's an All-American.
Both way, two-way player, right? Just so dominant on defense that you have to factor that in because that's the first thing in his game. And then you add in his offensive firepower as well. Yeah,
he has a definite potential to be an All-American, and let's hope he achieves that goal. Because if he does that, that means the team's going to play well.
See, I'm looking at Darrion, and I'm thinking I'm expecting a huge year from Darrion. I mean, we've all seen his capability throughout the tournament in those clutch moments as well. I mean, some of the shots he was making against Alabama, some of those plays in the Creighton game. I mean, like we said in previous episodes, yeah, he had his peaks and valleys, but I mean, the firepower is there, the quickness is there. Of course, on the defensive side is where he's going to struggle the most, just because size naturally. But having that year of confidence, knowing, okay, I can play at the highest levels of competition at this D1 level, So when you have those two guys handling the ball, I mean, I think some people were complaining last year that was an issue, but I don't think that's going to be an issue this year moving forward, man. I feel incredibly confident with the ball handlers in this backcourt.
Like I said, I mean, Jaedon and Darrion had similar trajectories. They had some games where they just kind of disappeared and games where they just went crazy, and so I think they were still getting used to the team, getting used to playing together and not being, in Darrion's case, being the man scoring all the points. That's gotta be, I've never been through that, you know what I mean? So I don't know how that would be mentally on someone, but he came through in the moment the lights were the brightest. And like I said, these guys transfer here to play in big time games like that. This kid from USC is coming here to play here for big time games. He's not coming here to play New Mexico. Do you know what I mean? He's coming to play, whoever in the NCAA tournament or in the Maui Invitational or, wherever we're at this year or Vegas. So, it's they come here knowing, hey, we're going to have a chance to play and we're going to play some big time teams. And, are we the, I saw everybody saying, are we the new Gonzaga? I don't know who to say. I really don't care what to say. To be honest, don't care. But that's fine. I mean, if that's what it is, that's what it is.
Here's kind of the point you've been bringing up, right? Like, okay, well, we'll just attract the guys that want to play, that want to win, aren't all about the NIL money, right? I feel like bringing LeDee and Lamont, having them solid. I mean, we have a solid core group of guys. Yeah, we have our question marks, but like, the nucleus of this team is there. Like the formula to win is there. So any big man or anybody else seeing and really paying attention, like if you want to come win, it's right here. You're talking to the defending, championship runner up. So, I mean, okay, NIL, all that stuff, that's all great, but you really want to be a part of a team that is set up to win and can prove it. Here you go, San Diego State.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I know, like, I just think the NIL is just like, it's finite. You know what I mean? There's only a certain amount of team players are going to get paid. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, and not everything is about the money, sometimes not about the money. It's about the message.
Yeah.
So these guys have a good message. Hey, come here. We're not going to pay you. We're not going to pay you $100,000, $200,000. We're just not. That's not our business model. But if you want to come and play in brotherhood, and see all these guys and their, how they interact and stuff like that. That, to me, that's the biggest thing. I think that's what I love about it is, like, we have 2 coaches in the last 25 years.
Yeah.
That to me, I talked to Cody up here, and he's like, he gets coaches every 4 or 5 years, and then they go on to a bigger thing. And it's like, you can't. There's no consistency there.
You can't recruit that.
Yeah, business models change, and now we'll see what Alford does if he stays here more than 4 or 5 years, or he bounces. You know what I mean? Yeah. But once you find a place that you like and you're comfortable with, why leave, man? You know what I mean? Like, why not? Like, that's what I think. That's what they did. They built a culture of, we love it here. We love the city. We love the school. We love the fans. We love the people. We love the players coming in. Let's build our program from the ground up instead of building it up and then leaving and going somewhere else. And, they want this. This is their baby. So that's kind of the consistency of family. And I think that's what they preach. Family on 3, team on 6, right?
Yeah. You're coming to a program that's family, that has something established and that you can establish yourself too. That's huge. That's huge. Yeah. And if you're looking for that, if you need that, if you're looking for that, if that's a fit for you, then you're going to come here regardless of what the NIL is and all that.
Right.
Well, man, this is getting me hyped up, man. I want another season to get here very quickly. They did something that nobody thought could ever be done in San Diego. And man, we got to give a little love because there's another team at state who did something that had never been done before. The ladies softball team, want to give them their respect. Yeah. I was watching the game over my boy Big James' house. They're all big softball. They're a big softball family down in the South Bay. We were watching the game. Unfortunately, they didn't pull it out. They made it really far to the super regionals, but ended up falling to Utah. But hey, big respects to the ladies of the softball team. They definitely turned a lot of heads, and you can definitely tell they're well coached. There's a lot going on in the Mesa, man. This program is definitely ready to make that that jump to the Pac-12 or whatever it is. It needs to happen soon.
Yeah, and congratulations to J.D. Wicker for being named the athletic director of the year, I believe, correct, in the nation.
Never has it ever been given to a non-power conference team athletic director. Like, he's been asked to do so many things way outside of his pay grade, but you kind of can't even say that, because when they brought him in, he was a part of Jim Sturck's previous run, and then he left and they brought him back. Like, they brought him back for a purpose. They knew exactly what they were bringing him back for, and that was to get Snapdragon Stadium built and done. So, man, thank you for bringing that up. Big congratulations, JD Wicker.
Yeah, I'm excited about this team, man. I'm the eternal optimist. You know what I mean? And no, I guess
what
pessimist. It's just, every year is different, man. So it's like I always root for my these players and stuff like that, and I hope they do well. But like, let's calm down with the, hey, we're gonna get to the national championship game again. Let's take it one game at a time and see what happens. And then these guys have the talent to do it. We'll just see what they can do.
I gotta put my fiend shades on for that one. Did you say you were the eternal optimist? Are you kidding?
No, I know. Well, forgive me. But now I have to deal with even more Stephen A. Smith now. Oh, did you hear this guy say we weren't going to do anything this year? That's not what I didn't say that, dude. But I'm excited, man. We'll see what that last scholarship comes about, and we can kind of see a better picture of what's going down and stuff. But I mean, this will be interesting to see this team. And the other thing is a team coming back after a national championship run or a game to play the national championship, how they react after that season, is always fascinating to me to see, because it's very difficult to do it once, and back-to-back is even more difficult. So,
well, we got the core together again. Lamont Butler, his ascension, we're hoping to continues and has just, an amazing senior season. Probably going to be one of the most hyped senior seasons for any basketball player in quite a long time. Jaedon LeDee, I mean, just an offensive rebound juggernaut. and we're excited to see what he can do offensively and defensively. But to see his role get expanded is going to be really, really fun to see. Just an incredibly efficient player, and of course Darrion and Micah Parrish. I mean, want to see these guys take the next step as well. So, man, a lot of exciting things for this basketball program moving forward. Despite so many guys leaving last year. So we're excited. Hope all you listeners can feel our excitement, and we look forward to discussing some more Aztec basketball news as things come down in the off season. Summertime is coming up real soon, so be sure to stay tuned. We'll have some more details coming up about Swish League and all that good stuff. I believe it's going to be going down at Lincoln High this summer, so that's going to be really cool. A lot closer to me, so that's good for me. And I think that's going to be a big hit. I love that decision, having it down there. Make sure you guys are sipping on your Ale Smiths. I miss going over there and watching some games, man. I was hoping the softball team would go to the World Series, because we were talking about, like, hey, man, we should have a watch party at Ale Smiths when they make that World Series game. Yeah. But, big shout out to Ale Smith, all those guys. And, man, thank you guys for listening. And, can't wait to talk about maybe another transfer, or just let's get ready for a new season on the Mesa, and hopefully some new developments with our NIL team coming up.
Yeah. Don't forget to get your Sons of Monty swimsuits too.
Yeah.
Got fun sport, man. But yeah, thanks for everybody listening and stuff like that. And don't tweet me about being negative. I love this team. I love every team that we have here. So I'm excited to see it. I'm going to root for these guys and hope for the best. So,
all right, everybody. Make sure you're checking out sonsofmontezuma.com and online shop. On behalf of SD Sports Fiend, who couldn't make it, I am Mateo. You can find us at Sons of Monty, Mike Tortolot, and all the Kiss the Rings crew. Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs. There you go.
Go Aztecs.
No stopping it with team on 3 and family on 6. And when you hit done, it all means this. We game time ready. Welcome to my gym where the crowd